Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show. I'm going to do my round 2 college football playoff predictions. After last week, I believe I went 3-1. The only game I got wrong was the SMU game, but other than that, I believe I went 3-0. Or excuse me, 3-1. So going to this weekend with the playoffs, start round number 2. Or no, this is, excuse me, I believe next week. Next week, round 2 of the playoffs, starting with the Peach Bowl. We have the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl. Or excuse me, starting Tuesday of next week. I just wanted to get this video out now because I could forget about it by next week. And Wednesday is usually when I normally do this, so I decided I'll do it here on a Thursday, a few days early before next week. So with the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl, that will determine the next week's playoff matchups, or the next playoff matchups. I don't understand why it's a 10-day, like, play around, 10 days off, play around, 10 days off, but whatever. Let's start with the Fiesta Bowl here. Number 4, Penn State versus number 9, Boise State. These are just based off the AP rankings. Boise State's coming off, or excuse me, they had the bye week. Penn State's coming off their win against SMU, where they just made SMU look terrible. Forced 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, really dominated defensively. SMU couldn't get the run game going either. Penn State's really good defense. The only really bad defensive game they had was Oregon, but they have really good defensive line, especially led by Abdul Carter, who will potentially be a top 5 selection in the upcoming NFL draft. I think he can cause an impact, but SMU's offensive line didn't play good, and their offensive line isn't that great. Boise State's got a really good offensive line, and obviously my Heisman, Ashton Jeanty, and he's not a cuck either, like the Heisman winner, Mr. Travis Hunter. Ashton Jeanty's just been special this year. I mean, it helps me have a really good offensive line, but he's just so tough to bring down as well. Like, he gets a lot of yards after contact, and that's just something you can't teach. That's just him being tough. He averages like 7 yards a carry. He has what? 2,000? He has like what? 2,000 something yards this year with like 30 touchdowns. He's just been special this year. Maddox Matson, he's been he's been mid. I feel like they're going to have a big game, obviously, from Ashton Jeanty. They're going to have a really big game from him. Penn State's offense is, like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Their offense took a while to get going against SMU, but their offense cannot do that this game, because it's not like Boise State is just, Ashton Jeanty and their defense sucks. Their defense is really good. And Penn State's going to have to get going. Drew Lars going to have a good game. He didn't have to against SMU, but I feel like he's going to have a good game here. And the running backs, obviously, have Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton, a really good 1-2 duo right there. They're both going to have to, I think we'll have some solid games, but I feel it's going to come down to Drew Lars. He didn't have to do much against SMU, but that Boise State defense is really, really good. And Penn State was able to escape last week with a win in a playoff game. Can they do that same thing? And remember Boise State back in the day, Fiesta Bowl, and bring back those jerseys. It's a tough matchup here, but I'm going to end up rolling with Boise State Broncos, my Boise State Broncos. Ow, shit. But yeah, I'm not a Boise State Broncos fan, but I'll be rooting for him. Well, I'm really just rooting for Ashton Jeanty, but yeah, I'm gonna pick Boise State here. I think Penn State has their annual playoff collapse, or big game collapse. Number 3, Texas versus number 12 Arizona State. All these next 3 games are on a Wednesday. So it's gonna be a busy Wednesday with 3 college playoff games. But yeah, let's get into it. Texas coming off their win against Clemson. Arizona State coming off their bye. They got one of the 4 bye weeks for the first round. Texas ran the ball really, really well against Clemson. I think they ran for 200 and something total. Texas defense wasn't great. Will they have to worry about that Arizona State pass game? Because obviously their star receiver, Tyson, is out for the season. The main player to worry about is obviously Cam Skattebo, and just like Ashton Jeanty, that guy's tough to bring down. If you let him escape a tackle and you don't get him immediately, he's gonna be hard to bring down. It's just like Ashton Jeanty. They're tough to bring down unless you get multiple defenders there. That's the main player to watch out for. Sam Leavitt's good. He can make plays happen with his legs. So even if the receivers might not get open, he can probably make some plays with his legs. So you have to respect his ability to run. Also respect Cam Skattebo. Cam Skibbity Toilet Ohio Sigma is. And this game is at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. This is a tough game because Texas, I think, is really good. They have all the talent. But Quinn Ewers didn't have to do much last game, and just one thing that worries me. If Arizona State's able to stop the run game, how will Quinn Ewers respond? Will he step up and have the best game of his career, or will he just have an average game and they lose? I feel like if Arizona State can stop the run game and they don't let them break off a lot of big runs and just get big chunks, they can win this game. And Arizona State's been one of the hardest teams in college football. Just when they started winning games and won their conference, it's a tough game. So I think Texas has all the talent. But I'm going to go with Arizona State. I know Texas is good, but I'm going to roll with Cam Skattebo and his Arizona State Sun Devils. So I picked Boise State and Arizona State so far to win in the Sugar Bowl. Number 2 Georgia versus number 5 Notre Dame at 8:45. I'm saving Ohio State Oregon for the last game. Riley Leonard against this Georgia defense. We'll see how he looks. I don't think Riley Leonard's a guy that will wow you and throw like 300, 400 yards and like 5 touchdowns. Like 4 or 5 touchdowns. But he's a quarterback that doesn't really turn the ball over. And he can run the ball. He can make plays happen with his legs, get out of the pocket, make plays happen. And they got really good running backs. Jeremiah Love, Price. They got 2 good running backs there and a quarterback that can make plays happen with his legs. For Notre Dame. You're not too worried about the wideouts. You're mostly focused on stopping that run game if you're the Georgia defense. The only thing that worries me with Georgia is that freshman quarterback. I believe Gunner Stockton. It's the only bit that worries me. But I feel like Kirby Smart will have him ready. I know he's a freshman, and this will be the biggest game of his career. I bet he probably didn't expect to start this season, but I bet Kirby Smart has this kid ready. Georgia can't afford any drops in this game, and Notre Dame's defense is I don't know why people don't talk about it as one of the best defenses in the country, especially defensively. I believe they lost one of the best defensive backs in the country at the start of this season, and they still have a really good defense. I think both these teams are really good defensively, and I think it could be low scoring. I know Notre Dame is a good run game, but Georgia is really physical up front, got really good lines of scrimmage. Georgia just can't afford those drops in this game. They've had some drop issues. Especially having a freshman quarterback, you want to avoid like a lot of, 3rd and long situations. You want those 3rd and manageable, where, he could throw a short pass, or they could run the football with a ETN, shit like that. Notre Dame, feel like they're just have to do what they've done really most of this season. Rely on their running back, see if they can get that going early. But my worry is if they can't get that run game going against that Georgia defensive front, that they might struggle, because Riley Leonard he's solid. He's not as bad as he was at the start of the year, but he's not a guy that's going to throw 300 yards and like 4 touchdowns. But I'm going to go with Georgia. I know they have a backup quarterback, but I think Kirby Smart will have him ready, and I'll trust that Georgia defense to actually stop the run game. So yeah, give me a Georgia here in the fourth and final game that I will predict. Oregon, the number 1 team in the country, versus Ohio State at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. A rematch from earlier this season where Oregon escaped beating Ohio State in the season 13-0. This is a tough game to pick, because on paper, I really think Ohio State's one of the most talented teams. Like, I don't think Will Howard's bad. I just think he's mid. But you look at the receivers on paper: Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, 2 NFL receivers. Carnell Tate's good as well. The offensive line was kind of I was kind of questioning, but they look good against Tennessee, and Tennessee has a good defensive line, and Ohio State just flat out dominated them. And their defensive line just killed the Tennessee offensive line, so I was kind of worried about the lines of scrimmage. Ohio State really dominated both those. Oregon, obviously 13-0, had the bye week. It sucks we're getting this matchup in the second round, man. In the second round, we are getting this matchup. Like, we couldn't get this for like a semi-final. We're getting this in what, the quarterfinals? Like, come on, second round, we're getting this. I want to see these teams play off and playing like the semifinals, not the second round. But hey, it's gonna be a great game. I'm not gonna complain about that. But it's kind of crazy how 13-0 you get the 1 seed and you get rewarded with playing Ohio State in a rematch. And I think this is gonna be the best of the 4 games. I don't know, man, who to pick here. It's hard to beat a really good team twice. And you can talk about, Ryan Day, he's going to have another playoff failure. Will he? Maybe. Who knows? You could argue these are the 2 best teams in the country squaring off the quarterfinals. But I have some questions. Can Ohio State prevent explosive pass plays after allowing 4 plays of 30-plus yards to the Ducks in their first matchup? And for context, Ohio State allowed 2 of those total in its other 12 games this season. And their offensive line, I'll talk about it again. Can they hold up for a second game in a row? They held up against Tennessee, but can they do it against Oregon? Like, this unit is super banged up, and it's going against an above-average front. This is not some weak Oregon defense. Like, they have a really good defense. And despite the Buckeyes' result a few weeks ago against Michigan, I still think they're one of the best teams in the country, talent-wise. I still think they're really, really talented. And like I said for that Michigan game, I didn't think they would play that bad again, because they are too talented offensively. They have too many weapons just to be that bad. I think they're going to play a much better game against Oregon this second time around. It's a tough game to pick, man. Dillon Gabriel, they're going to have to limit the explosive plays. Oregon, same thing. They're going to have to limit the explosive plays from Will Howard. And they could beat the top seed here. You know what? I think it's hard to beat a really good team like Ohio State twice. Give me Ohio State, and ends Oregon's undefeated season in the quarterfinals. So that's my pick. So until next time, I'm out. Peace.